In the sleepy village of Maplewood, where the trees are as old as the stories whispered under their branches, young Carson, accompanied by his ever-vigilant spaniel, Louis, sets off on his bicycle one bright Saturday morning. Their mission was simple: to capture the legendary giant frog of Willow Pond, a creature rumoured to be as big as a bread box and as wise as the oldest oak. Carson, equipped with nothing but a homemade net made from his grandmother's old curtains and an unwavering belief in campfire tales, pedalled vigorously with Louis bounding alongside. Their journey took them past Mrs. Appleby's bakery, where the smell of cinnamon rolls spun through the air like sweet music, which Louis found particularly distracting. Upon arriving at the pond, Carson and Louis were greeted by a chorus of croaks and the dance of dragonflies. The pond was a mosaic of lily pads and sunlit ripples, each wave telling its own short tale. Eagerly, Carson set his net beside him and crouched at the water's edge, his eyes scanning the surface for any sign of their amphibian quarry. Hours slipped by with the sun traipsing across the sky. Every rustle in the reeds made Carson's heart leap, only to sink again when the culprit turned out to be nothing more exciting than a timid turtle or a shy snake. As the shadows grew longer, Carson's initial enthusiasm waned. Maybe the giant frog was just a myth, a story spun by the older kids to spark the imaginations of the younger ones. Just as he was about to call it a day, Louis, who had been sniffing around the reeds, began to bark excitedly. Carson rushed over, and there, in a small clearing in the reeds, sat not a giant frog, but a cluster of frog eggs. Though initially disappointed, Carson's frown turned upside down as he realized the pond's future was right before his eyes in those tiny, jelly-like promises. With a newfound respect for the small beginnings of great things, Carson decided to leave the eggs undisturbed, choosing instead to take back a story of discovery rather than conquest. On their ride home, Carson felt a swell of pride, not for the trophy he had hoped to bring back, but for the wisdom he had gained. Sometimes the true adventure lies not in the catching, but in the learning. And as they rode back under the fading light, Carson understood that his journey had just begun. And that sometimes the smallest things can teach the biggest lessons.